Guys, something just surfaced on X this morning that I need to talk about, because if this is true, it changes the entire picture for XRP right now. There are several posts on X about this right now, getting a lot of traction. It all comes down from an article on Coinpedia. There is a figure in the XRP community who goes by Lord Belgrave, and he claims to be a City of London banker with direct ties to Ripple and the XRP ecosystem over the last decade, and he just posted a serious warning. His claim is this: there is a possible second regulatory attack coming for Ripple. Let me walk you through exactly what he said, why it matters, and why the timing of this warning right now is actually very interesting. Lord Belgrave says he personally attended a private strategy meeting back in 2018. In that room were representatives from several large American banking institutions, and according to him, Ripple and the XRP ledger were explicitly on the agenda. Here is the part that should get every XRP holder's attention. He says the banks in that room were not worried about the technology. They understood it completely. They knew it could compress settlement times and eliminate the need for pre-funded accounts that the banks depend on for billions in revenue every year. Their concern was simple: Ripple was moving too fast, and if it got too entrenched in the payment rails, the banks would lose control of the infrastructure they have dominated for decades. Think about what that means. The SEC lawsuit that launched in 2020 and dragged on for 4.5 years. Could that have been the first move in a coordinated effort to slow Ripple down? And now that Ripple has won, is a second move coming? I want to be straight with you here because this is the part most videos skip. Lord Belgrave is an anonymous figure on X. We cannot verify he attended that meeting or his claims, but this warning has been circulating in the community, and we should not ignore it. And here is what we can verify. And this is where it gets very interesting. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JPMorgan, one of the largest banks on earth, came out publicly against the Clarity Act just weeks ago. He called it inadequate and said it creates compliance risks. Brad Garlinghouse fired back and said Dimon was either being intentionally misleading or negligent. Those are strong words from the CEO of Ripple directed at the most powerful banker in America. JPMorgan generates around $20 billion a year from its payments business. If Ripple's network replaces even a fraction of that, the math is devastating for JPMorgan. So the question Lord Belgrave is raising is not crazy. Do the big banks have a financial motive to attack Ripple? Obviously, yes. Have they used regulatory pressure before? The evidence suggests yes. Could they try again? That is the uncomfortable question. And here is what makes this warning land differently right now. Ripple just spent 4.5 years and $150 million fighting the last attack and won. They are stronger now than they have ever been. They have ETFs, live in the US. They have a federal commodity classification. They have the Clarity Act, one Senate vote away from making that classification permanent federal law. A second attack, if it came, would face a completely different Ripple than the one the SEC targeted in 2020, and it would face a XRP community and an institutional investor base that did not exist back then. So what should XRP holders do with this warning? Watch two things. First, whether any new regulatory filing or agency action appears targeting Ripple in the next few weeks. If Lord Belgrave's warning has any substance, you would expect to see early signals in the regulatory space. Second, watch the Clarity Act. If it passes before August and locks XRP's commodity status into permanent federal law, it dramatically raises the cost and difficulty of any future regulatory attack. The law becomes the shield. The banks may be scared, but Ripple is not the same company it was in 2020, and neither is this community. As always, nothing here is financial advice. Do your own research before making any decisions.